It's a sunny Saturday afternoon, the kind of day where the breeze feels like it's whispering secrets through the trees. In the front yard, I can hear the soft laughter of my son, his voice rising with the excitement of a game he's playing, unaware that things are about to take a turn. He's holding a ball, his tiny hands clutching it tightly, eyes sparkling with that pure innocence only children seem to have. It's a peaceful moment, the kind of moment parents live for. But as I watch him, I can't shake this unsettling feeling, like the calm before a storm. Something feels wrong. Something is lurking just beyond the edge of my thoughts, waiting to pounce. And then I hear it. The sharp, unmistakable sound of footsteps. Not the casual kind, but the deliberate, almost aggressive kind. The kind that belongs to someone with a purpose, someone who isn't here to chat. It's a noise that sends a chill down my spine, a signal that something isn't right. I turn my head, my gaze narrowing as I see them approach. 3 figures, dressed in dark uniforms, walking across my yard without a single word of warning. They move with a confidence that almost feels like an invasion of my space, my privacy. My heart skips a beat. This is not the kind of interruption I'm used to. I'm no stranger to conflict, but this is different. They don't belong here. They're not just trespassers. They are something far worse. They are an authority that believes they have the right to come into my life, my home, and disturb my peace. They're HOA enforcers, and they've come for something I never thought they'd take. My son looks up at them, his joyful expression faltering just slightly, sensing the shift in the air. But he doesn't yet understand the full weight of what's happening. Not yet. He won't understand why these strangers are walking across the grass I've carefully tended to, the same grass he's run barefoot on countless times, laughing, shouting, being a child. But for me, the moment they set foot on this yard, everything changes. My heart races, and my fists clench at my sides. They have no right to be here. None. As the tension builds, I can't help but let my mind wander back to a time when I stood guard over the most important people in the world. The faces I watched closely, the steps I took to ensure their safety. Those moments feel distant, almost surreal now. I had been part of something bigger than myself, something that demanded strength, focus, and the will to protect at all costs. I had sworn an oath to defend, to stand guard, to watch over those whose lives depended on me. And now, I stand here in my own yard, feeling powerless against the forces that are encroaching on my family. The enforcers stop in front of me, and without a word, one of them holds up a clipboard. The official documents are there, the authority, the mandate. They've come to enforce a rule that makes no sense to me, a rule that feels like it's there just to control, to dictate. And I know, deep down, that this is more than a mere misunderstanding. This is about power. This is about them asserting control over what little space I've fought to build for my family. The rule is simple. My son's play equipment, the one that he spent hours building, has been deemed a violation. A rule about yard aesthetics, a rule about compliance. But I'm not just some random homeowner who will roll over and accept it. As I stand there, a quiet rage bubbling beneath the surface, I look at the faces of the enforcers. They're calm, calculated. They've done this before, and they'll do it again. But in that moment, something changes inside me. It's a flicker of recognition, the kind that comes when you know the stakes have just shifted. These aren't just enforcers. They're symbols of something darker, something more insidious. They are the embodiment of a system that doesn't care about family, about memories, about what matters to real people. They are the harbingers of a bureaucracy that's too big, too powerful to be stopped by anything less than resolve, less than defiance. And that's when I realize, this is not just about a kid's playset or some arbitrary rule. This is about something deeper, something more personal. This is about me reclaiming my life, my yard, my family, and yes, even my dignity. And maybe, just maybe, there's a part of me that longs for that old feeling again. The feeling of control, of authority, the feeling that I am the one calling the shots. The feeling I once had when I protected presidents, when I stood between chaos and those I swore to defend. I take a slow breath, my mind spinning with the weight of what's happening. I know I can't let this slide. Not now. Not with my son looking up at me, his trust in me so pure, so innocent. This moment will define how he sees the world, how he sees what happens when the system tries to break you. It'll be a lesson in standing tall, even when the world feels like it's closing in. A lesson in fighting back when the very thing that's supposed to protect you is the one trying to tear you down. The enforcers stand there, waiting for a response, their eyes scanning me for a reaction. And I realize, in that split second, that the real test isn't about whether I can win this fight. It's about whether I'll even get the chance to fight at all. Because the story I'm about to tell you, the story that's unfolding in this yard, is about more than rules and regulations. It's about the breaking of a man who stood guard over the highest offices in the land, only to find himself face to face with the kind of injustice he never saw coming. So I'll stand my ground, because I have to. For my son, for my family, for myself. And when this is all over, when the dust settles, I'll remember this moment, the feeling of standing up against something bigger than myself, the feeling of reclaiming what's mine. Because the fight, in the end, is always about something deeper than the surface. It's about who we become when we are pushed to the edge. The yard is quiet now, almost unnervingly so. The laughter from my son, once so full of life, has faded into the background, leaving only the hum of the trees in the distance and the weight of the silence pressing down on my chest. I stand frozen, the clipboard still hanging in front of me like a weapon, the faces of the enforcers now a blur of authority, each one scanning me as if they're waiting for me to break. But I don't. I won't. I can feel the ground beneath my feet, solid, unwavering, but the chill in the air seems to seep deeper into my bones. It's funny how something as simple as a yard, a space meant for peace and memories, can become a battlefield in an instant. There's something about the absurdity of it that makes my heart ache. A playset, a swing, a few toys scattered across the grass. How did something so innocent, so full of joy, become a symbol of conflict? But it's not just the playset. It's everything else that's been building up inside me for years now. The life I've built. The choices I've made. The weight of the uniform I once wore, the badge of honor, the promise to protect. All of it, every last part of it, is at the forefront of my mind in this moment. And I feel a familiar burn in my chest, the kind I haven't felt in a long time. It's anger. And it's so much more than anger. It's the frustration of knowing I'm standing in my own home, in my own space, and still feeling like a stranger. Like the world outside has taken everything from me, piece by piece. I remember the days when I wore a different uniform. The black suit, the earpiece, the tense stillness that came with standing at attention. I was trained on every movement, every sound. I remember the faces, the handshakes, the endless stream of visitors passing through security, each one more important than the last. And I remember the weight of it, the pressure, the responsibility, the endless vigilance. It was my life. It was who I was. But even the strongest armor can wear thin. The first time I realized that was the day I was pulled from my post. They told me it was for my own good, that I needed time off, that the job had taken its toll. But it felt like a betrayal. Like I wasn't good enough, wasn't strong enough to keep going. I had given everything to the job, my time, my mind, my body, and in return, I was discarded, left to face an uncertain future. I thought I was untouchable, that nothing could ever break me. But life has a way of proving you wrong. And suddenly, I found myself standing outside the gates of a government building I no longer had access to, the uniform replaced by ordinary clothes, my badge a mere relic of the past. I didn't know how to be anyone else. I tried to rebuild. I found a job. I found a house. I found peace, or at least I tried to. But it was never the same. I was no longer the man who stood between danger and the most powerful people in the world. I was just another guy, just another dad trying to make a life. And the harder I tried, the more it felt like I was slipping away from the man I used to be. The first few months were the hardest. The days bled into one another, a blur of routine and mundane tasks. My son, still so young, didn't understand the weight of my silence. He didn't know what it felt like to lose your sense of purpose, to be cast aside. He didn't know how it felt to wear the mantle of responsibility only to have it ripped away, leaving you naked and exposed. I tried to give him everything I had left, every moment, every laugh, every scrap of energy I could muster. But something in me was missing, something I couldn't get back. And as much as I loved my family, as much as I cherished the moments I had with them, the old wounds festered beneath the surface. The loss, the guilt, the feeling that I was no longer enough. I can still feel the sting of that day, the day everything started to unravel. It was the first time I looked at my son and saw the concern in his eyes. The first time he asked me why I was so quiet, why I seemed so distant. It was a simple question, but it cut deeper than anything else. Because I didn't have an answer for him. I didn't know how to explain the emptiness I felt. The hole that had been carved out inside me. The part of me that had been broken, even if I hadn't fully admitted it yet. I tried to bury it, to move on. But the pain didn't go away. It lingered, gnawing at the edges of my thoughts, creeping into every corner of my life. Now, here I am, standing in front of three strangers who have no idea what I've been through, no idea what I've sacrificed. They don't know the battles I've fought, the dangers I've faced. All they see is a man who's broken a rule, who's stepped outside the lines. And they're here to enforce that rule, to remind me that I'm just another homeowner in their world, another name on a list. I look down at my son, who's still standing by my side, his small fingers curled around the ball he's forgotten about. He's watching me closely, his eyes wide, waiting for me to react. And for a moment, I'm struck by the weight of his gaze. He's too young to understand what's happening, but he's not too young to feel it. He knows something is wrong. He knows the tension in the air. And I can't help but wonder how long it will be before he realizes that the world isn't always as safe as we'd like to believe. My son is a reflection of the person I used to be, the carefree, optimistic version of myself that believed in justice, in right and wrong, in standing up for what's right. The person who believed that everything would be okay as long as you had the strength to fight for it. But that version of me has been buried beneath the weight of too many years of silence, too many years of compliance. I've been treading water for so long, trying to keep my head above the surface, that I've forgotten what it feels like to truly fight for something, to stand up for what matters. As the enforcers stand there, waiting for me to make the next move, I feel something stir inside me. A flicker of something I haven't felt in years, courage, maybe even defiance. And I realize that this is more than just about a rule, more than just about a playset. This is about reclaiming the man I used to be, the man who stood in the shadows to protect, the man who swore an oath to fight against the things that sought to destroy what was good in this world. But as I look at my son, I know this fight will be different. It won't be about protecting the powerful or standing between them and danger. This time, it's about protecting what matters most. It's about showing my son that the world isn't always fair, but that doesn't mean we stop fighting. It's about teaching him that, no matter how small or insignificant we may seem, we all have the power to stand up against what tries to tear us down. I take a deep breath, the air sharp in my lungs. And for the first time in a long time, I feel the fire stir inside me. The fire that's been lying dormant for far too long. The fire that tells me it's time to fight back. And as I turn to face the enforcers, I know this won't be easy. But I also know it's a fight I can't walk away from. Because this time, it's not just about me. It's about my son. It's about my family. It's about standing up for the things that matter, no matter what it takes. The air between me and the enforcers feels thick, almost suffocating, as they stand there with their clipboards and their unwavering gazes. I can feel their eyes on me, their judgment weighing down like an invisible hand, pushing me back into a corner I didn't ask for. They don't know me. They don't know what I've been through, what I've sacrificed, or what it's like to stand between chaos and order, to stare down the threats that most people would never even dream of. But somehow, they think they have the right to tell me how to live, how to raise my child, and how to keep my own yard. It's not the rule. Not really. It's never been about that stupid fence or the toys that spill out into the lawn. No, it's about something deeper, something more visceral. It's about control. It's about power. They have it, and I don't. And that cuts deeper than anything. I'd fought for years to protect those who didn't know they needed protection, standing in the shadows, ready to defend against the forces of nature and man alike. But now here I am, standing on my own property, feeling utterly powerless. I glance at my son, who's still clutching his ball, staring at me with wide, confused eyes. He doesn't understand what's happening. He doesn't understand that the world is full of rules and systems that often work against you, even when you're just trying to do the right thing. I wish I could protect him from that, from the harsh reality that life isn't always fair. But the truth is, I can't. I can't shield him from the things that are bigger than us, from the people who believe their small authority gives them the right to invade our lives. And that's the worst part of all. I've spent so much time trying to protect others, to shield them from the dangers lurking in the shadows, that I've neglected to protect the one thing that matters most. I've neglected my son. I've let myself slip into a role that's left me disconnected from the world around me, from the people I'm supposed to love. My marriage has felt the strain, my friendships have dwindled, and my relationship with my son, my flesh and blood, has suffered. I can't let that happen again. Not now. But the enforcers aren't done. They stand there, their eyes scanning me, waiting for a crack, a sign of weakness. I know what they're looking for. They're looking for someone who'll fold, someone who'll submit to the system, to the rules they enforce. But they don't know who I am. They don't know what I've survived, what I've been through. They don't know the rage that burns inside me when I see injustice, when I see power being wielded in ways that hurt the innocent. I could feel it now, the familiar tension in my muscles, the slow build of frustration that threatens to spill over. I remember the way I used to feel when I was on duty, when every second mattered, when I had to be calm, focused, and ready for anything. But now, it feels different. Now, it feels like I'm not in control. It feels like the rules have shifted, like I've lost my place in the world. I want to scream. I want to shout at them to leave, to let me breathe, to let me live my life without this constant pressure, without these unspoken demands. But I don't. I don't because I know it won't make a difference. They'll just see it as weakness, another reason to escalate the situation, another reason to remind me of my place. The internal struggle I'm feeling now is a battle I've fought for so long, one I've tried to bury deep inside myself. It's the fight between who I was and who I've become. The man who stood tall in the face of danger, who protected others without hesitation, now standing small in the face of a system that doesn't care about who I am, what I've done, or the sacrifices I've made. I glance at my son again, his face a mixture of confusion and fear. He's still too young to understand, but he can feel it. He can feel the tension, the unease that's settled over our home. I want to protect him from this, from the world that's full of these moments where we're asked to choose between standing up for what's right and submitting to what's easier. The truth is, sometimes I don't know what the right choice is. Sometimes it feels like every path leads to a dead end, like no matter what I do, I'm always a step behind. I'm reminded of the day I first took my son to the park, back when life was simpler. I had been struggling with my transition out of the Secret Service, trying to adjust to life as a civilian, as a father. I remember watching him play on the swings, laughing as he soared through the air, his tiny hands gripping the chains tightly. It was the first time in years I felt like I could breathe, like maybe I could build a new life, one that wasn't defined by the weight of the badge. But even then, I knew it wasn't enough. I knew that something inside me was broken, something I couldn't fix just by playing with my son or mowing the lawn. There was a part of me that longed for the clarity of purpose I had once known, the certainty of knowing exactly what was at stake every time I stepped into a dangerous situation. But now, the lines were blurred. Now, I wasn't sure what I was protecting anymore. The enforcers don't say anything as they stand there, but the tension is palpable. It's like they're waiting for me to break, to show them something that will justify their actions. But all I feel is this internal war, this pull between the man I used to be and the man I'm becoming. They don't understand what it's like to be caught in the middle, to be both a protector and a prisoner of your own past. And that's what this is. It's a prison of my own making, a prison built out of expectations and obligations I've placed on myself. I thought I could handle it all, thought I could protect my family, rebuild my life, and still be the man I used to be. But somewhere along the way, I lost myself. Somewhere along the way, I became a shadow of the person I once was. But I can't stay there. I can't stay in this place of anger and frustration. I have to make a choice, one that will change everything. I can't keep pretending that everything is okay. I can't keep pretending that I'm fine with being passive, with letting the world push me around. It's not just my own dignity I'm protecting anymore. It's my son's future, his chance to grow up without the weight of the world on his shoulders. It's my chance to show him what it really means to stand up for what's right, even when it feels impossible. I take another deep breath, and this time, I hold it. I'm not sure what's going to happen next. I'm not sure if I'll win this fight or if I'll lose it. But I do know this. I'm not going to let it break me. Not this time. Because my son is watching. And I refuse to let him see me give up. The world may try to knock me down, but it won't win. Not while I still have breath in my lungs. The silence stretches between us, thick and suffocating, like a storm that's building but refuses to release. My eyes meet the enforcers, their faces still unreadable. I feel the pressure mounting in my chest, the old instinct creeping back, the one that tells me to take charge, to control the situation, to bend this moment to my will. But I'm not there anymore, not that person. I'm not the man who could command a room, or who could keep his cool in the midst of chaos. I'm a father now, standing at the edge of something much bigger than myself, something I can't control. My son stands beside me, still clutching that ball, his small fingers white from gripping it so tightly. He looks at me with an innocence I don't deserve to protect anymore. I can see the questions in his eyes, the confusion. It's the kind of look that no child should ever have to wear. It's the kind of look that cuts right through me, unraveling the last bit of resolve I thought I had. "You're not helping your case," one of the enforcers says, his voice cold, almost bored. "We've been clear about the rules. The HOA will not tolerate this." I hear the words, but they don't land. Not really. It's the way he says it, like I'm just a number in a system that doesn't care about who I am or why I'm standing here. It's the same tone I've heard so many times before, the voice of someone who believes they're above it all. Someone who doesn't see people, just policies. And that's the thing. It's never been about the fence or the toys on the lawn or anything else. It's about the power they wield over you, over your home, your life. I try to steady my breathing, but it feels like I'm suffocating. I can hear the echoes of the past rising up, those moments when I was trained to keep my emotions locked away, when I stood in the shadows of history, protecting those who didn't even know the danger they faced. But none of that matters now. Not here, not in this moment. I try to focus on my son. I need to be strong for him. But there's a part of me that feels like I'm failing him already. The realization hits me like a slap across the face. I've spent so much time looking outward at all the threats in the world that I've forgotten the real fight. The fight is here, in my own home, in the way these people think they can push me around, in the way I've let them. I glance down at the symbolic object in my hand, the old, worn coin from my days in the Secret Service, the one I carried with me through every operation, every mission. It's just a coin, really, a small piece of metal with no real value beyond what it represents. But in this moment, it means everything. It's a reminder of who I was, of what I used to stand for, of the man who would have fought for what's right, no matter the cost. But now, I'm standing here, trying to decide whether I'll fight again or whether I'll let them break me. The wind picks up, and I feel it biting through my jacket, sending chills down my spine. I glance up at the sky, and it's as if the world itself is holding its breath. The clouds hang low, heavy with the promise of rain. It's the kind of day where you can almost taste the tension in the air, as though some great, inevitable change is coming, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. My son shifts beside me, his small voice barely a whisper. "Dad?" I look down at him, his eyes wide, unsure. He's looking to me, searching for answers. And in that moment, I realize the weight of what's at stake. It's not just this fight with the HOA. It's not just the fence or the toys or the stupid rules they're trying to enforce. It's about my son growing up in a world where he learns that when things get tough, you don't fight. You don't stand up. You don't speak your truth. I can't let him believe that. I look back at the enforcers, my gaze hardening, and I make a decision in the deepest part of me. The choice isn't about winning or losing anymore. It's about standing firm, even when it feels like the world is conspiring against you. It's about showing my son that there are moments in life where you have to make your own rules, where you have to fight not because it's easy, but because it's right. "Enough," I say, my voice quieter than I expect, but steady. "I won't let you do this to us." The enforcers exchange glances, and I can feel the shift in the air. They weren't expecting this. They weren't expecting me to stand my ground. It's as if for a moment, they can't see the man standing before them, just the symbol of resistance they're forced to confront. One of them takes a step forward. "You're making a mistake." "No," I say, taking a slow, deliberate step toward them. "The mistake was ever thinking you could push me around." The words hang in the air, charged with a power I hadn't known I still had in me. For a split second, I wonder if I've crossed a line, if I've pushed too far, but I can't stop now. Not after everything. Not after all that I've lost and all that's on the line. I see the flicker of doubt in their eyes, a brief moment where they question whether this is worth it. I've been there, in that place where you know you're facing someone who won't back down. It's a dangerous place to be. "Do you really want to do this?" the enforcer says, his voice wavering for just a second, betraying the uncertainty that lies beneath his words. "We can take it to court, but do you really want that kind of attention?" I laugh bitterly. "What do you think this is? A game? This isn't about a fight in court. This is about my family. And I'll fight you with everything I have if I have to." For a moment, I see the reality of the situation fully, the weight of it all. The world, so large and uncontrollable, seems to close in around us. I wonder if this is what it's all been leading to, the culmination of years of tension, of waiting for something to break. And now, as the rain begins to fall softly, I realize that I've already lost something, that something irretrievable has slipped away, no matter the outcome of this moment. I glance at my son again, his eyes wide and uncertain, but there's something else there now, something deeper, something stronger than confusion. It's a quiet understanding, a recognition that no matter what happens next, he's seeing something in me that I didn't even know was there. The man who guarded presidents, who stood in the face of danger, is standing here for him, for us. The wind picks up again, and the storm that's been brewing in my chest feels like it's finally about to break. There's no going back. There's only the choice I've made, the fight I've chosen. And whatever happens next, I won't let them take this from me. Not my family. Not my dignity. Not my future. As the rain begins to pour, we stand there, father and son, alone against the world, and I know that whatever comes next, it will change everything. The rain intensifies, soaking through my jacket, but it doesn't matter. Nothing matters except the way the world around me feels like it's closing in, as if the walls of this place, of this moment, are shifting and rearranging themselves, forcing me into something I never asked for. The enforcers stand there, looking at me, measuring my resolve. The words I've said hang between us, but there's something else beneath it all, an undercurrent I hadn't anticipated. One of them, the one who had been speaking earlier, looks at the others, and there's a subtle shift in his posture. It's barely perceptible, but I catch it. His eyes flicker, just for a second, like he's unsure of what he's about to do. Then, with a small nod, he steps back, giving the signal. I feel it before I hear it, a shift in the air, a tension so thick it's almost suffocating. Then, out of nowhere, I hear a voice behind me. Is everything all right here? My heart skips a beat. I turn quickly, and my breath catches in my throat. It's her. Standing at the edge of the driveway, her presence feels like a punch to the gut. She's not supposed to be here. Not now. Eliza. She's the last person I expected to show up. But there she is, standing with that familiar, unreadable expression on her face, her gaze locked on me like she's seeing right through me. The rain slashes against her skin, but she doesn't seem to mind. She's the same woman I once knew, strong, unyielding, with a fire that burned even when the world tried to drown it. But now, seeing her here, I feel the jagged edges of something I'd thought I buried long ago. A part of me wants to reach out to her, to fix everything we've lost, but I know better. The past is never as simple as we want it to be. The enforcers glance at each other, clearly thrown by her sudden appearance. For a moment, it seems like they don't know what to make of her, as though they're unsure if they should be wary or amused by her presence. But she doesn't flinch. She doesn't back down. One of the enforcers steps forward, his voice clipped. Ma'am, this doesn't concern you. Eliza's eyes flick to him, and she raises an eyebrow. It's a gesture I know all too well, one that says everything and nothing at the same time. She looks at me again, her eyes lingering on the coin in my hand, the one I've held onto for all these years. I feel the weight of it in my palm, heavier now than it's ever been. Eliza, what are you doing here? I manage, my voice cracking despite myself. The question feels empty, like I already know the answer, but I need to hear it out loud. She stands still, taking a slow, deliberate step toward me. I've been watching, she says softly, as if she's only just letting me in on something I should have known all along. I've seen how they've been pushing you. You were always the strong one, always the one who kept it together. But I can see it now, Jack. I can see what's happening. You've been running on empty for a long time. The words hit me harder than the rain. She's right, but it's not something I've been willing to admit. I've been holding on to a version of myself, a version of our past, that isn't real anymore. The coin in my hand feels like a lie now, something I thought I could hold on to for strength, but it's slipping through my fingers. And then, the unexpected happens. Eliza's voice drops to a whisper, but it cuts through everything. I'm sorry, Jack, she says, her words heavy with a pain that mirrors my own. I didn't want to be the one to tell you, but they're not just here because of the fence. I freeze. The air thickens, the rain falling in slow motion around us. What are you talking about? She hesitates, her eyes flickering toward the enforcers. Then she looks back at me, and I see the regret in her eyes. They've been watching you for a long time. The HOA, they've got people everywhere. This was never just about your yard. It was about you. About what you used to do. My stomach drops. What are you saying? The silence between us stretches, long and painful. The words hang in the air, twisting like smoke. Eliza steps closer, her voice barely audible. They know who you are, Jack. They know what you used to do, who you used to protect. A chill runs down my spine. I thought I had left all of that behind. I thought I had buried it in the past, far away from the life I'd built. But it's here now, seeping through the cracks of my carefully constructed world. Are you saying this is all because of my past? I ask, my voice barely more than a rasp. Because of what I did? What I was? Eliza nods, her eyes sad. They've been tracking you for years, Jack. They never stopped watching. You were never just a man to them. You were a threat. And they've been waiting for the right moment to bring you down. The rain starts coming down harder, the world around us blurring in a haze of water and emotion. I feel my grip tighten on the coin, the small piece of metal now a symbol of everything I've tried to escape. The past is back, knocking on my door, and I realize too late that I never really got rid of it. You need to get out of here, I say, my voice sharp, like I'm trying to protect her. This is dangerous. You can't be a part of this. But Eliza doesn't move. She stands her ground, her eyes unwavering. I'm not going anywhere, Jack. I'm in this with you now. We've both been running for too long. It's time to face it. I want to argue, to tell her to leave, to protect her from whatever's coming. But I know she's right. We've both been running for too long. And in this moment, I realize there's no more hiding. The truth is out. The stakes have just risen, and they're higher than I ever could have imagined. The enforcers remain silent, watching us like they've been waiting for something. I can feel the weight of their presence, the way they're closing in, waiting for the moment to strike. My heart beats faster, a drum in my chest that keeps pace with the rising tension. And then, it happens. One of the enforcers steps forward again, this time with a look of grim determination. He pulls out something from his jacket, a folder. My breath catches as he holds it up. I know what it is. It's the proof. The dossier. Everything they've collected on me, on my past, on the things I thought I had buried. This is all over now, the enforcer says, his voice steady but with an edge of finality. I look at the folder, the contents inside, and I know that the world I've been trying to protect, my family, my son, my future, is slipping away. The stakes have just risen, and now there's no way to stop the avalanche that's coming. I glance at Eliza, and for the first time in a long while, I feel the weight of everything we've both been through. I feel it in the pit of my stomach, the regret, the loss, and the realization that there's no turning back. The past is here. The future is uncertain. And we're standing on the edge, about to be consumed by it all. Now what? I ask, my voice raw. Eliza looks at me, her gaze steady, and for a fleeting moment, I see the person I used to be reflected in her eyes. The person I thought I had lost. Now we fight, she says, her voice quiet but filled with an unspoken promise. And I know, in that moment, that we are no longer just fighting for a yard or a fence. We're fighting for everything we've ever known, for everything we've ever loved. And whatever comes next, there's no going back. The rain continues to fall, harder now, soaking everything, my clothes, my thoughts, my past. But in that moment, as I stand with Eliza, with the enforcers closing in, the world feels strangely still. The roar of the storm is a muffled hum, and all I hear is the pounding of my own heart, desperate and uneven. Every inch of me is on edge, waiting for the next move, the next word, the next thing that might break this fragile thread we're hanging by. The folder in the enforcer's hands is a threat. It's the kind of threat that promises to unravel everything I've built, everything I've worked so hard to protect. He holds it with the kind of reverence that sends a cold shiver down my spine. Inside that folder is the truth I thought I buried. My past as a Secret Service agent, the promises I made, the people I protected, the things I did to keep the world safe. And now, all of that is crashing down on me. It was supposed to be gone. I was supposed to be gone from that life. I turn to Eliza, her face etched with concern, but her eyes are clear, unwavering. It's like she's known something I haven't, something that's been hanging over us both for years, something that led us back to this exact moment. You have to do something, she whispers. Her voice trembles with the weight of what's about to happen, but there's strength in it, too. They're using your past against you. But you're not that person anymore, Jack. You don't have to be. Her words cut deep, slicing through the tension that's been building for what feels like a lifetime. For so long, I've been hiding, pretending that I could outrun my history, that I could be someone else. But the truth is that no matter how far I've run, no matter how hard I've tried to forget, the past always finds its way back. And now, in the rain-soaked driveway, with the world closing in on me, I can see it clearly. I can see everything that I've been running from. I glance at the folder again. It's not just paperwork. It's my life, it's my story, it's everything I ever was. And the worst part is, I can't escape it. I can't outrun it anymore. The enforcer takes another step forward, his face hardening with purpose. He doesn't care about my excuses, my explanations. He just wants the truth. He wants to expose me for what I used to be, and in doing so, tear everything I've built down. I look at the coin in my hand. The same coin I've carried with me for all these years, ever since I left the Secret Service behind. The symbol of everything I thought I had lost. The coin that used to remind me of who I was, of the sacrifices I made, of the life I left behind. But now, it feels different. Now, it's not just a piece of metal. It's a reminder of everything I've tried to forget. With a deep breath, I let go of it. I watch as it falls to the ground, sinking into the dirt, vanishing beneath the rain-soaked earth. For the first time in a long time, I feel a weight lift off my shoulders. It's not just the coin I'm letting go of. It's the past. The part of me that thought I needed to be someone else to be worthy. The part of me that thought I had to carry the weight of my mistakes and regrets forever. But I'm done. I stand tall, my eyes locking with the enforcers. I'm done hiding. Done running. I'm not the man I was, but I'm not the man he thinks I am, either. I'm someone different now. Someone stronger. I'm not that man anymore. I say, my voice steady and firm. And you're not going to make me be. For a moment, there's a flicker of doubt in the enforcer's eyes. Maybe he wasn't expecting me to fight back. Maybe he thought I would crumble, that I would fall to my knees and beg him to spare me. But I'm not going to do that. I'm done living in fear of my past. And then, the unexpected happens. The enforcer's hand shifts, and suddenly the folder is flung to the side, landing in a puddle with a soft splash. The group of them watches in confusion, unsure of what to do next. For a moment, there's silence, broken only by the sound of the rain beating against the ground. It's as if time itself is holding its breath. And then Eliza steps forward, her voice calm, but carrying an unshakable weight. "You don't understand, do you?" she says, her eyes narrowing as she looks at the enforcers. "You think you're here to expose him, to punish him for things that happened years ago. But you're wrong. You have no idea who you're dealing with." The enforcers exchange uneasy glances. They've underestimated us. They've underestimated her. "Jack might have been someone else once," Eliza continues, her voice growing stronger. "But that was a lifetime ago. And he's not going down without a fight. And neither am I. I don't know what's come over her. But in that moment, something in her has changed, too. The woman I once knew, strong, fearless, but reserved, is gone. In her place is someone even stronger, someone who is no longer afraid of the things that have haunted her. She's facing them head-on, and she's standing beside me. The rain falls harder now, a relentless torrent. The darkness around us feels all-encompassing, like the world is closing in. But there's light here, too. There's something between us that neither of us can ignore. "I'm not going to let you tear him down," she says to the enforcers, her words sharp and final. "Not today. Not ever." For the first time in years, I feel a flicker of hope. A small spark of something that I thought was gone for good. The past hasn't been erased, but it's no longer holding me hostage. And in this moment, with Eliza by my side, I realize that maybe there's still a chance to rebuild. Maybe there's still a chance to be something better than I was. I look down at the folder, now discarded and forgotten in the puddle. The things inside it, my past, my mistakes, the things I wish I could change aren't gone, but they're no longer defining me. And that's when I realized something. The coin I lost wasn't just a symbol of my past. It was a reminder that I had the power to let go, that I had the strength to move forward. And now, as I stand here, with Eliza by my side, I know that the past doesn't have to be my future. The enforcers, realizing they've lost their footing, start to step back. The tension in the air begins to dissipate, but I know this isn't over. This isn't the end. But it's a beginning. I turn to Eliza, the woman who has always seen me for who I truly am, even when I couldn't see it myself. The rain has slowed to a drizzle now, and for the first time in years, I feel like I'm standing in the light. "I'm sorry," I whisper to her, my voice full of emotion. "For everything." She smiles, her eyes softening. "There's nothing to apologize for." And then, with a deep breath, I make my decision. It's time to face what's ahead. The storm isn't over, but we've weathered the worst of it. We walk away from the yard, side by side, knowing that the past can no longer control us. We've both let go of the things that were holding us back. And in that moment, I understand something deeper than I ever did before. It's not about what we've lost. It's about what we're willing to fight for. And that's what matters. The final twist hits me as I turn the corner, the world ahead of us shrouded in mystery, the path uncertain. But for the first time in a long time, I don't need the coin. I don't need the past. Because the truth is, I've already won. The rain has stopped, but the ground is still slick, the remnants of the storm reflecting the dim light that struggles to break through the overcast sky. It's as if the world itself is holding its breath, waiting for something, waiting for me, waiting for us. I glance at Eliza, her face framed by the soft glow of the fading light, and for the first time in a long while, I see peace there. No longer the woman who carried the weight of our past on her shoulders, but someone free, someone who finally feels like she can breathe. We walk in silence, side by side. There's no need for words. The rain has washed away the tension, the fear, the anger, and with each step, the weight that used to feel so unbearable begins to feel lighter. The events of the day, the storm of emotions, are slowly fading into the background. And yet, I can't shake the feeling that something has changed, something in both of us, something deeper than just the surface of the storm. I glance down at the path before us, the soft earth beneath my boots, the wet grass bending in the wind. It's almost as if nature itself is healing, the world moving on, turning the page on the chapter we've been stuck in. It's hard to explain, but it's as if time itself has offered us a chance to start again, to rebuild in ways we never thought possible. Eliza's hand brushes against mine, and it's a small touch, but it's enough. She doesn't need to say anything. She knows, just like I do, that we're walking away from something we can never go back to. But we're also walking towards something new, something different. A future that, for the first time in years, feels within our reach. I can't help but think about the folder, discarded in the puddle. What's left of the past now? Those pieces of paper were supposed to define me. They were supposed to be the final word on who I was, who I could ever be. But they didn't. They didn't define anything. They were just pieces of paper, fragments of a life that no longer held me captive. And the coin, the one I dropped into the mud, the one that symbolized everything I thought I was. I thought losing it would break me, but instead, it was the very thing that freed me. It was never the coin that mattered. It was the lesson it taught me. Letting go is not a weakness. It's a strength. It's the ability to move forward, even when the weight of the past tries to hold you back. I look up, and the sun is finally breaking through the clouds. It's just a sliver of light at first, but it's enough to warm my skin, to make me feel like I've stepped out of the darkness and into something brighter. It feels like the world is finally aligning, like the storm was a cleansing, like it had to rain so we could grow, so we could finally let go. Eliza, I say, breaking the silence between us. She turns to me, her eyes soft, her expression unreadable, but I can see the glimmer of understanding there. She's been with me through it all, through the highs and the lows, the moments of doubt and the fleeting flashes of clarity. And somehow, we've made it here together. I used to think the past would always haunt me. I continue. My voice feels thick, but there's a lightness to it now, a freedom that hasn't been there for a long time. But it doesn't have to. We don't have to carry it forever. She smiles, the kind of smile that reaches her eyes, a smile that says more than words ever could. She knows exactly what I mean. She's let go, too. We both have. The path ahead of us is uncertain, filled with possibilities and challenges we can't predict. But in this moment, with the storm behind us and the sun finally breaking through, I feel something I haven't felt in years, hope. Hope that the future isn't just a place where we go, but something we can create. Hope that we can still be who we're meant to be, no matter where we've been or what we've done. I turn away from her for a moment, looking at the horizon where the light meets the dark. I don't know what the future holds, but I know we can face it together. And for the first time in a long time, I believe it. I truly believe it. Eliza takes my hand, and the simple act of it fills me with something I can't quite explain. Maybe it's love. Maybe it's something else. But whatever it is, it feels real. It feels like it's something worth fighting for, worth building, worth protecting. We don't need words anymore. There's nothing left to prove. The storm has passed, and what's left is a quiet peace, a moment of reflection. We've both let go. We've both chosen to walk away from what held us back. And in doing so, we've chosen something better. We've chosen each other. As we continue to walk, the silence feels comfortable now, familiar. It's not an awkward quiet. It's a peaceful quiet, a moment of understanding between two people who have seen each other at their best and their worst. A moment where we don't need to say anything, because everything has already been said in the way we move together, in the way our hands fit perfectly in each other's. And then, just as I think this might be the end of the story, I hear a faint sound behind us. I turn around instinctively, half expecting to see the enforcers or some new threat emerging from the shadows. But instead, I see something else entirely. A figure standing in the distance, watching us. It's too far away to make out clearly, but there's something about the way they stand, the way they watch us, that sends a shiver down my spine. I don't say anything to Eliza, not yet. But the moment lingers, a reminder that the past might be behind us, but the future is still unwritten. Still, even with this lingering doubt, there's something different now. We're no longer afraid. We're no longer running. Whatever comes next, we will face it. Together. The light continues to grow, spilling over the horizon, and I can't help but think of the way everything has changed. The storm, the rain, the folder, the coin, these symbols of what used to define us are now the very things that have set us free. It's as if we had to lose everything in order to gain what really matters. The strength to stand tall, the courage to face the future, and the ability to let go of the things that no longer serve us. As we walk into the light, I can't help but wonder, what happens next? What happens when you've let go of everything that held you back? When you faced your past and made peace with it? What do you do then? I don't know the answer. But I do know one thing. Whatever it is, we'll face it together. And that's enough. The story may be over, but the journey is just beginning.